I am your host, Daniel Atai.
Coronavirus no be our friend, oh. Yo, yo, yo. Make we push am comot, yo. Corona, he no be our friend. Yo, yo, yo. Say make we push am comot, yo. My country people, you see this coronavirus no be joke, oh. Make we help ourselves and our government pursue this yamayama sickness from our country. Make we remember to wash our hand every time with soap and water. Make we no forget to sanitize our hand and wear face mask when we come out. Also, make we avoid crowd and keep social distancing when we come out. My people, if you see you don't get symptoms, make you rush go hospital make them treat you. Coronavirus no be our friend though. Make we remember say prevention better pass cure. Coronavirus no be our friend though. Make we push am comot, yo. Corona, he no be our friend. Say make we push am comot, yo.
This is Television Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your number one choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on NightComSat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 Ancient House, 48 Aerodrome Road, Beaufort Park, Colindale, London. For inquiries,
Coronavirus no be our friend, oh. Yo, yo, yo. Make we push am comot, yo. Corona, he no be our friend. Yo, yo, yo. Say make we push am comot, yo. My country people, you see this coronavirus no be joke, oh. Make we help ourselves and our government pursue this yamayama sickness from our country. Make we remember to wash our hand every time with soap and water. Make we no forget to sanitize our hand and wear face mask when we come out. Also, Make we avoid crowd and keep social distancing when we come out. My people, if you see say you don't dey get symptoms, make you rush go hospital make dem treat you. Coronavirus no be our friend though. Make we remember say prevention better pass cure.
Coronavirus no be our friend oh. Make we push am come out yo. Corona no be our friend oh. Say make we push am come out yo.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll take it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise again. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, rise like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigerian. I am Daniel Atai. This morning we will be discussing about the infectious disease bill, the proposed infectious disease bill, though it has been rescinded because of outrages and controversies that trailed the bill. However, before we do that, we will take a short break, and then when we come back, I'll introduce to you my analyst in the studio, who is also a public thought leader. And we shall be expecting a call from a renowned constitutional lawyer in the person of ODK from faraway Lagos. Please stay tuned. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. COVID-19 infectious disease bill has been, greeted with outrages as a proposed bill okays demolitions of buildings and where infections occurred. Outrages and criticisms has greeted the infectious disease bill in the pipeline at the House of Representatives to gift it to the federal government efforts to manage the special circumstances surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, which has claimed up to 70 lives in Nigeria. The bill, which was sponsored by the Speaker himself, talking about the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, when the House convened last Tuesday, the April 28, 2020, the bill would create a new legal framework to replace the National Quarantine Act of 2004. A peep into the bill, if it becomes law, shows that the health minister will have the right to convert any building into an isolation area, while the police would be able to arrest any individual suffering from an infectious disease even without a warrant. Also, with a court order, government will be able to destroy any building where an infectious disease, including cholera, typhoid, and dengue fever has occurred. Section 79, subsection 3 of the bill prescribes a 500,000 naira fine and 6-month jail term for persons who violate the quarantine restriction or refuse to take vaccinations in case of an outbreak or a suspected outbreak of an infectious disease in the country. It was a PDP, the opposition party, that first of all fired the first shot that said that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, should subject the bill of the infectious disease control to a public hearing, because failure to do so raises suspicions of sinister objectives. The party, which gave the advice in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Olobodiyan, said in Abuja, said the bill should not be passed without recourse to the laid down procedure of public hearing to allow Nigerians to participate in the process of making the law. In his reaction, Clement Nwankwo, the Director of Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, said, "A new law is needed, but the powers are too sweeping. There is a lot of powers in the bill which could be used for political purposes." according to David Houdin, who is a writer and also published particularly this bill on News Ringer, the bill is not so much about helping to save Nigerian lives from disease outbreaks. It is one about helping the Director General of the Nigerian Disease Control, Center for Disease Control, NCDC, and the Minister of Health to become very, very powerful and unjustifiably powerful. Houdin maintained it would be too early to call for the death of the bill, even though it is terribly defective with several punitive measures that give the DG the powers to act like a colonial Caesar. However, I would like to appeal to Nigerians to let us critically review and appraise this draft before we make it into law and see whether it could be exercised of its illegal powers and provisions. The bill bears the signature of a draft that originated from a communist republic in faraway Singapore. I will stop there, but the characteristics of the bill are enormous, and we have just explained two of it. One, forceful vaccination. Two, taking over any building or houses where infectious disease is said to have outbroken. And then three, the bill will also empowers the police without warrant and the government without any warrant but with court order to arrest and prosecute anybody found having infectious disease or breaking the law of infectious disease control, just like what has happened in the COVID-19 pandemic, where so many people are breaking out, out of isolation centers and so on. We'll open the discussion to public scrutiny this morning, but with me in the studio is Gerard Silvanus Ewerem, a public thought analyst and leader. Mr. Gerard, you are welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much.
Also, we'll be expecting to receive call from Barrister Edike Ajidike, who is a constitutional lawyer, to give us his take on what this bill proposed. Although Femi Gbajabiamila and the House of Representatives has rescinded the bill, and they have said they are going to subject it into what public hearing. And he said, though the time frame for public hearing is not guaranteed because of the lockdown or partially lifted lockdown and the social distancing order. However, people could give up or give in their opinions by writing and contributing or voicing or sending their statement from wherever they are, so that they can compile and consider these various thoughts to make it a bill, since he has been suspected to have been induced by foreign powers. Mr. Gerard.
Yes, sir.
The controversy of the bill, titled the Infectious Disease Bill. The bill has been greeted with so much outrages across the country, with Nigerians and people,
especially from opposition,
parties.
Sure.
I think you've heard the take of a former senator, the senator representing Kogi West, Dino Malaye, saying that accusing Femi of working with Bill Gates and probably trying to enforce the bill quickly so that Nigerians could be vaccinated against their will. What is your take right now concerning the bill entirely?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. First of all, my condolences to all the families that have lost their loved ones in the course of this situation. There is hope we will overcome. Just put on hope we will overcome the situation. Now, I think we're in democracy.
Yes.
And I mean, to make a law, you need to carry the people along. We are not a communist nation, for Christ's sake.
Yes.
Now, suspicion to me, on within days, the bill have gone second reading. That's so amazing. It looks suspicious for me, as far as I'm concerned. Second reading within days. And
within a day, not even within days.
Within a day,
yes,
he's already passed the second reading.
Yeah,
that's extremely suspicious for me. Like the other senator said that. I mean, the other honorable House member said, it's quite sweeping. it will give an almighty, a supreme power to NDCD chairman or whoever, director general and the health minister.
Yes.
I mean, it gives an almighty power to these guys, to come possess someone's house, take it over, and I think vaccination should be a thing of choice.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay, vaccination, like countries like Denmark, I think Germany, and some other countries are proposing forceful vaccination, where if you are not vaccinated, you cannot partake in.
But there must be a public hearing to that. You should hear the people's opinion. You should carry people's will along in such a law.
Okay, that is what Nigerians
absolutely,
want.
that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
We're not looking for, you just wake up in the morning as though you are ruling your family. You can wake up and decide that your wife wouldn't go to market today, and that stands. You're talking to over 200 million people. We bring these guys up there to represent us. What it means is we are the ones who are seated when this kind of critical situations come. Our opinions should matter. This is a country. We are in a democracy. Now, we understand the situation of the virus or whatever situation, outbreak, pandemics, breakout diseases are, how bad and how dangerous they are in an environment. You understand what I'm saying? But at this point, I don't think it's time for someone to just rise up and within days. It's suspicious to me, as far as I'm concerned.
Had it been the bill scaled through, wasn't greeted,
there would have been a serious situation for Nigerians to accept that.
Because of the lacuna.
Absolutely. You expect us to come and have an opinion to that. Now, you're talking about our health here. You want to protect the nation outside the national will of the people.
Okay, considering the fact that if you look at what the COVID-19 patients were doing, some of them were even running from isolation center where they were kept. They
now,
left
Mr.
with...
Daniel, it has to do with education. Some of them were not properly educated about one. See, the pandemic situation is not a death sentence.
Okay.
Government have not mobilized in our rural areas like they should if they are really functioning effectively.
Okay.
That's the reason for government. You see our politicians come to these areas when it's time for elections. How many have you seen into those villages to educate these people about this virus?
Okay.
And how friendly they can be in spite of being a positive carrier of the virus? They're not doing well. They are not. I can tell you that in my village, many of the women in my village are not aware of this situation, apart from the ones their loved ones told them about. So government is not doing much. They're not doing much to bring us.
Now, what I'm trying to say is this. The government, we know, has not done much.
Absolutely.
But this pandemic, because of the violations from isolation centers, some people are even saying they are not infected. Government is subjecting them to that they have COVID-19. They don't have it.
Forcing them to accept
COVID-19. Yeah. So, don't you think there should be a legislation backing the pandemic, apart from COVID-19? Anything pandemic, anything infectious disease at all, there should be a legislation, don't you think so? So that when people are infected with diseases, they cannot just move about infecting others, they cannot violate isolation centers or quarantine centers. But the forceful vaccination is where I have a challenge. I have a challenge. I have
Absolutely.
reservation.
I take a difference to that because I think you can forcefully force people to take vaccinations. Come on, for Christ's sake. There are other ways to this law. That's why I think about the public opinion. That's why I think about the public opinion. It's absolutely necessary at this point. Bring it to the public. We'll bring suggestions at which how this can be done without forcing it on the people. Now, first, we can go down first to educate the people, one, the need for that to come into existence, the law.
Okay.
You see, Daniel, one of the things you can do to get people understand your mind and idea about trying to preserve the nation or the environment or the people themselves that you're ruling or you're leading, you need absolute education. You need to educate the people. Sometimes you have a good intentions, but the way you go about it will become, it's almost like a tyrannic attitude to the people.
Okay.
That's not how it's done. There's a need for people to know. There's a way you break things down to people that will make them accept it wholeheartedly. And if people will break, this law will be affected, and these laws will be carried out by people who understand the effectiveness of this law to their lives.
All right.
At that point, you can do that.
Yeah, even the NCDC Director General Chikwe Hekazu, he has said that he is not going to be part of any legislation that will be a kind of
subject people into.
You understand?
No.
Although the bill is necessary, but everything
There's
normal.
a way to go about it. That's what he's trying to say.
All right.
That's what the young man is trying to say.
All right. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll open the lines for those who are watching us from any part of the world to give their contributions to this. We are talking about the infectious disease bill. It has been rescinded, though, and it has been subjected to what? Public hearing. What will be your take? The numbers will shortly be displayed on your screen after this timeout.
Coronavirus no be our friend, yo. Make we push am come out, yo. Corona, he no be our friend, yo. Say make we push am come out, yo.
My country people, you see this coronavirus, no be joke. Make we help ourselves and our government pursue this yamayama sickness from our country. Make we remember to wash our hand every time with soap and water. Make we not forget to sanitize our hand and wear face mask when we come out. Also, make we avoid crowd and keep social distancing when we come out. My people, if you see say you don't get symptoms, make you rush go hospital make them treat you. Coronavirus, no be our friend though. Make we remember say prevention better pass cure.
Coronavirus no be our friend, yo. Make we push am come out, yo. Corona, he no be our friend, yo. Say make we push am come out, yo.
Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. You're welcome back. And the lines are actually displayed on your screen now. And for the benefit of those who are vision impaired, you could call in 081-3701-5949 or 070-5432-7616. Be civil while making your contributions. You remember when calling from outside the country, outside Nigeria, please put in the first country code, which is +234. Gerard,
Sir.
while we expect the calls, we were talking about the infectious disease bill. It has been rescinded. Do you think Femi on his own, by listening to the outrages, public outrages and opinions, he withdrew quickly the bill and said he's going to subject it to public hearing, though not backing off the bill? Do you think that the public hearing would a kind of reject the compulsory vaccination?
Oh yeah, it can, because one, we're in democracy.
Okay.
It's very important.
But other countries who made compulsory vaccinations, they are practicing democracy.
Yeah, I'm saying there is a possibility that can happen, and there's also a need for public opinion to be received. There is always a reason for that to happen. You need to hear people out. Now, if you're a constructive leader, there is always a way to carry people along. Like I talked about educating the people. Now, it's from the people's opinion that you find out how to psychologically bring in your opinion to them and see that your idea is sold to them properly. There is a way to sell ideas to the public.
Okay,
as a leader.
Let's take this call from Barrister Odi Ajike, who is a public lawyer and an analyst. Hello, barrister.
Yeah.
Hello, barrister. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Barrister, where is your location this morning? I thought you were supposed to be in the studio.
No, because of logistic challenges, movement has not been
Fantastic, most
has
recently.
not been so open.
Absolutely.
So we're still trying to fight back ourselves to our usual. After 5 weeks of lockdown.
Okay, barrister, you are a lawyer of great repute and a public analyst. You are also a constitutional lawyer. Could you tell us about this infectious disease bill? Now it has been subjected to public hearing. Don't you think we need the legislation as quick as possible in the country?
My brother, the problem we have is that we believe that legislation are silver bullets. Laws are not silver bullets.
Not at all.
Okay.
Laws are not silver bullets. The House of Reps, they are concerned about how people run away from isolation centers, how social distancing is not incorporated in any law. But they forgot that we had a quarantine law ever since the 60s or 60s. And what the quarantine law is doing is only enabling local government and state government to collect money from produce traders crossing state lines. So I think the House of Representatives is looking at a deal that will integrate health services, both curative and preventive health services. Because public health is this, it's not just about, the kind of one that we have experienced now. There are issues with the bioeconomy. Bioeconomy in the sense that has to do with bioterrorism and so on and so forth. They are all public health issues. So one, they should integrate the health services all across Nigeria. Integrate the curative and the preventive, systems of our healthcare so that we can be on the same platform to ensure resilience. So that if anything of a public nature, of a pandemic nature happens, the reaction process will be shorter and the system will be able to act in a very resilient manner.
Okay.
Then right now they are talking about the NCDC being proactive. How can they be proactive? Can they be able to forecast diseases the way weather is forecasted?
All right, barrister.
Those are the areas they should strengthen. If we can have the ability to forecast diseases that will affect the public, the way we are able to forecast weather, then we are good to go. But that is not what the law is all about. The law is all about limiting people so that the social distancing will become a law, so that issues of restriction and isolation will become a law. That is not the solution. When the system cannot react to protect the people, then what's the necessity for the law? If the system is weak and all you are doing is for enforcement purposes, to enforce compliance, to social communication procedures, then unfortunately it is the law.
All right, barrister, could you say that people leaving the isolation centers and spreading the disease, the COVID-19, without backing, could the Nigerian government prosecute them under any law, since there is no legislation backing this infectious disease right now?
Sorry, come again.
I said right now, we don't have any infectious disease law on ground, do we?
Yeah.
Do we?
Do we have any infectious disease on ground?
Yes, any law on ground now to control people violating isolation center, violating vaccination, violating quarantine.
We have the NCDC. We have the NCDC that regulates public health diseases, control and management. Now, we are taking a Western view, or we are taking a Western position in terms of control. But I think we should take a postmodernist, approach in terms of control, because we're looking at diversity, because we're looking at subjectivity, we're looking at culture. You understand? The culture, even in Nigeria here, the culture varies. The culture varies from place to place, from zone to zone.
It's different.
The culture of the average Southerner is not the culture of the man from the West.
Absolutely.
So we can't have a blanket policy. Then what we have to do is to take a postmodernist approach and look at the subjective issues. They look at the subjective issues that concern people, then design a policy. Then all I'm saying is that the law is never a silver bullet for issues like this.
All right.
We should be talking about integrating the health system, getting the primary health care system and the secondary system to be on the same platform.
Absolutely.
So that we can offer preventive measures and curative measures.
Absolutely.
If events like this happen, and also build resilience in the system. We should also be concerned about our ecology. There are so many things that is impacting our ecology, which we are not concerned about. Public health pandemic, public health disease, even gas flaring, causes public health challenges. Control the spread. The same way that we are predicting weather.
Have you taken cognizance to the fact that there won't be accountability on the side of those given fund, for the fight against this COVID-19 pandemic, since there is no legislation backing it?
No. That is what I'm. One public disease that we have experienced, which is the COVID-19.
All right.
Now, we don't have a system. We don't have a system that is at work because we've not been able to integrate our system. Issues of public health.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister Odi Ajike, calling all the way from Lagos this morning into Spectacle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now you heard the barrister already say making a legislation is not a silver bullet. It's not a silver bullet that will give solution to the pandemic which is already spreading.
Absolutely, he's clear with his statement. He's clear with his idea and opinion. What he's trying to say is, there are primary essentials for us first before we get into those first. Now, it's very important that we go back to our healthcare systems and revive them. You heard him talk about the rejuvenation of all of those healthcares first, so that we are able to contain outbreak or pandemic situations in our country. That's the first. We have a backup, a landing pad healthcare systems all around our local government, our communities, our urban
The
areas.
primary health cares at the local
Absolutely.
government
Revive
areas,
them.
completely
Bring them to
zero,
order.
nothing to
Bring them
write
back.
home about.
And look,
And,
Daniel, for
and
60
the government keep funding these things, keep funding, keep allocating budget upon
is
budget,
unfortunate.
yearly to yearly.
It's very
And-
unfortunate.
And
It's an
this is
unfortunate
where we are
situation.
now. And Femi is trying to say legislation will a kind of give a silver
So-
bullet to, the violation of. Anyway, Nigerians are saying we are not going to be forcefully vaccinated and so on. But don't you think vaccination?
We need such laws. But like we are saying, there is a protocol to doing that.
Okay.
You don't just come up one morning and.
What about the issue of
promulgate a law.
vaccination? Don't you think vaccination is paramount right now?
Not really at the moment. Not really at the moment. You know why I say that? Because vaccination, even when you want to release vaccines, there is always a need for us to know how far the vaccines can go.
All right.
Vaccines don't come within days or weeks. You and I know that it
Yeah.
takes over 12 months for that to find expression. And God's so kind. People are not so dying of the pandemic situation here like other nations of the world, like the European nations and American nations. We watch on screens all the time. I don't think it's yet Uhuru for that. I don't think so, Daniel.
All right. Anyway, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain for today. You said vaccination is not time for vaccination.
Not
and
yet.
Barrister
Not-
said the legislation for infectious disease bill is not a silver bullet that will resolve the issue of pandemic.
There are
right
other
now.
protocols to get into that peak.
Yes, and the NCDC director also said he will not be part of any legislation that does not carry the people along. The House of Rep entirely has subjected the bill into public hearing now. So from all the 774 local government areas, spirited individuals who are concerned about this bill should begin to send their take to the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and you have your various representatives.
And why you have to do the writing is because of the social distancing.
Yeah.
So nobody is going to go conduct public
Exactly.
opinions and all that.
So you have heard the bill is still subject to public hearing. Everyone, you have your House of Reps in all constituencies in the 774 local government. You have people representing you. Some local government are 3-2 meshed together to form a federal constituent. So a federal constituent have a representative
Please
in the
don't
House
go
of
to
Rep.
sleep. Make your opinions be known.
Make your opinion to be known through your House of Rep member. Ensure that the bill which is seeking, the bill which is a proposed bill for infectious disease bill, you have a take, you have a say in this bill. And Spectacle on TVN is bringing this to the forefront so that people who are not aware will be aware that such bill is in the pipeline. And once it is passed into law, there is no going back. And part of the nitty-gritty is vaccination.
Forceful vaccination.
It's not going to be forceful anymore. That is why it's subject to public. Since it is subject to public, it might not be forceful vaccination. And people who normally break the rules of pandemics, infectious disease like this, people who don't want to be isolated, people who don't want to be quarantined, people who want to spread the virus deliberately or the disease deliberately will be legally dealt with. That is what the bill is seeking to address. And this is where Spectacle will stop this morning. and you have to follow us on our social media platform if you have any contribution to make as regard this proposed bill, infectious disease bill. Follow us at Twitter at TV Nigerian, Facebook, Television Nigerian. Our website, we have www.tvn.news, and Instagram, Television Nigerian, and so on and so forth. We are all there. Let's have your take, and we could also represent you to pass in your statement or your take on this bill to the House of Representatives. Thanks for watching, and let's do it again tomorrow. I have been your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.